Hey guys, how's it going? Author Daniel Coolbaugh here. I just wanted to talk a little bit today about why I love the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. So I have them all over the place. So I just like rearranged my library. So I have a couple that are out of order here. But first of all, growing up and seeing covers like these, these types of covers made me want to be an illustrator when I was younger, and really got me just into books in general. And that's probably why I really want to go into writing them too. There we go. Like, absolutely incredible. Love the typical duster and the cowboy hat. Just always great covers and just really get you in the mood, I think, for the urban fantasy feel. So I just want to talk a little bit today about why I love the Dresden Files. So I had a previous video, so make sure you check out my video on Kevin Hearn's Iron Druid Chronicles and why I enjoyed that series so much. And I'm just going to do like kind of quick blurbs on these. So after I read Kevin Hearn's Iron Druid Chronicles, a friend down there in Arizona suggested when I was coming up here, like, hey, you should check out Stormfront, and actually gave me one of the books used, and I brought it up here. I think I ended up grabbing the next two. I got free. There was like a old book barn actually near my wife and I at the time, our old apartment on the other side of town here that was going out of business, and they had them out front. And I was like, well, I already have book one. Might as well grab book two and three. I think I grabbed like book five or something like that. And then I went to the library sale here in town and got like a few of the others. And at one point, I don't know what it was, I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it. And I read Stormfront, and a lot of people say don't start with Stormfront. A lot of people say like start with like book three. I actually really enjoyed Stormfront right off the bat. Yeah, a lot of people say start with Summer Night. Summer Night was one of my favorite books, not just in the series, but one of my favorite urban fantasy and just one of my favorite books of all time. Even when like I just got done with like Cold Days here, I think this is the last one I read. This one had a lot of repercussions from the Summer Night, and it has some amazing characters in it. So a lot of people say start with Summer Night and then go back and read the first two. If you're someone like me and you just have to start at the beginning, I mean, I'd start with Stormfront. I thought Stormfront was really cool. It was his first book, and it is an older book. So urban fantasy at that time, like you just got to get used to the fact that they just the style was a little different. It takes a little bit longer to get going, and they don't reveal a bunch of stuff really early on, so there's like a bunch of mystery and stuff that they're going to compound on later. And I found the same thing with like Faith Hunter's Skinwalker, which I'll talk about this series. I found the same thing with Rob Thurman, all right, in terms of like Nightlife. I'm still enjoying both of them, but I think you just really have to know when some books were published. I talked about that with Iron Druid Chronicles. This book just like get you right away, and I would say the same thing with like I don't have it here because I only have my one copy, but Patricia Briggs's Mooncalled. That one and Hounded, like if you love urban fantasy that just grips you and you just go, and you can fly through 3 or 4 books in a week and not realize it. And those are the two series that I think are for you guys. But that's what Summer Night does. Like book 3, Summer Night, just like boom, it goes. But in terms of book 2, I'm blanking right now. Yeah, Full Moon. I loved Full Moon too. There's like werewolves in that. Like the magic system was really cool. There's a couple different magic systems with the werewolves, and you learn more about Harry's magic and stuff. I mean, it's just like super cool stuff. So I actually really love Stormfront and Full Moon. And Summer Night, like I was just like kind of pounding away. I highly recommend James Marston from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who plays Spike, does the Audible books, like the audiobooks for the Dresden Files, and he is like the best. I love, like I'm about to do this with the next book, Skin Game, where I will get immersed into the story with James's voice and just like how he brings the characters to life and the feeling he brings with it. And he doesn't get enough credit as an audio narrator. Like great actor, and I loved him in Buffy and other stuff he's been in, but man alive, can he narrate an audiobook, particularly when he has a character like Harry. So I always like use that to get into the story, and then I go right for the paperback. Sometimes I'm doing Audible for those ones. Like those are like Iron Druid Chronicles, Patricia Briggs for your Alpha and Omega, or Mercy Thompson, and Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files. Like those are Audible books that I will never get rid of. And I love having like the Kindle sometimes versions as well as the paperbacks and Audible. They're just stories I absolutely love. This series, I well, it's just gonna come down to the fact that I love Harry's character. I love Harry's character. I love that he's trying to do good in a bad world. I love that he is not gonna give up, trying to do what he sees as the right thing, even if it's gonna totally f up his life. When you get to like changes, holy moly, like, and he learns from his mistakes, and then makes new ones, and I feel like he's such a human character. He's got like literally the power of a god, I think, is essentially how you could see it, and which I think all sorcerers and wizards are, and magic users within the series, like compared to us humans, they're like gods, and he always comes out on top, even though he's usually a tiny ant. So you have like the humans in the series, and then you have like the magic users, like monsters and magic users, and then you have the gods and goddesses and just different people like the fae and vampires and things that will totally wreck you. So Harry, I love Jim Butcher because he writes Harry's character as if, like he's got these godlike abilities to create magic and things and do all these really cool things, but at the same time, like humans are at the bottom of the food chain, and particularly when it comes to magical beings. And throughout the whole series, like as Harry levels up, I think he's got one of the greatest menagerie, or rogues gallery besides Batman, of like urban fantasy. And like it just, every time Harry steps up, like Jim finds a way to step it up and to make you feel like Harry's going to lose at any minute. And sometimes he does lose. But that creates an absolutely amazing story. The secondary characters are absolutely incredible. Like Harry very early on, Susan's a great character throughout the series. Murphy is, I think, one of my favorite characters of all time. So if you know who she is, she's incredible. And she's like one of my favorite characters of any series. She's like the paladin type character. She's a detective, and she always sticks by Harry, even when, it's not easy. And she always does the right thing. Like Harry's like this gray, like morally great character, like the Punisher at times, I would say, who's going to do, what he needs to do to like get what he thinks is like the right outcome. But Karen is always going to be doing things by the book and on the right side of things. And her calling to be a detective and like a police officer and protect people isn't just her job, it's her calling. Like it's who she is. So I respect that a lot. And that's what like Jim does so well. It's like not just Harry, but like everybody. You feel that with all the other characters, whether it's Molly or whoever it is. Like, and there's just so many cool characters and organizations, and his world building is just absolutely incredible. Like Chicago transforms in the Dresden Files to Harry's home rather than him writing his character in Chicago, and I think that's absolutely incredible. And it's a series that some people I think don't realize, like it changes probably by like I would say like book 7 or 8, and then it starts to widen into a much different type of urban fantasy series, because you start off with like 7 or 8 books and it's like a detective noir urban fantasy type thing, which was great and I love it, but then it starts to expand almost into this like epic fantasy feel in an urban fantasy setting and world, and it just like clicks. And I think some people really like the first part, some people like the second part more, and some people like me that just love the whole ride and the development of the character of the series. And I have people, they're like, well, it's a lot of books, it's a lot of words, not as much as Malazan and things. So that's why I always suggest go with the Audible version, and then kind of go from there. And like I said, James does an amazing job. I don't know who I would be as a person or as an author without the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, Iron Druid Chronicles by Kevin Hearn, or Alpha and Omega or Mercy Thompson by Patricia Briggs. And they've given me a lot of perspective of myself as a person, and the characters that I want to write. I love Harry's character. I love Atticus's. I love Mercy Thompson's character. And I love Anna and Charles from Alpha and Omega, and their secondary characters. So if you want to know what type of world or story, I'm trying to create with my own urban fantasy stuff, those are it. All right. So please do me a favor. Check out the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. All right. And if you check them out, please let me know in the comments, if you liked them or not and what you did and didn't like. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Please check out my own stuff. Please don't forget to subscribe. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And as always, happy reading, my friends. See you guys.